In this issue of the Mountain Bike Chronicles, we're in France at the 6th UCI downhill stop. In Val d'Isère, the elite of the downhill scene comes together for the second-to-last race. Loïc Bruni is known as the most talented rider in France, but he is also well known for his good sense of humor. Mountain biking with its high speeds requires a sophisticated braking system. All this and much more in this edition of Mountain Bike Chronicles. 18-year-old Loïc Bruni has been riding a mountain bike since his early childhood.
I started to ride really young, you know. My father brought me in the race, so I was always with my bike, and then I began to race maybe at 10 years old. And after I continue with a better bike till today, and still loving it, so it's good.
And he made his dream come true. In 2010, he was allowed to ride on the same team together with his idol, Sam Blankensop.
Yeah, Blanky was he was my idol 2 years ago when I just signed with the team. It was just incredible to can ride with him and stuff. So the first moment was so strange. I was really shy, you know. I said nothing because I was just watching him, riding and stuff. But now we know each other so good. And yeah, it's a really good friend for me. That's why he's happy when I ride good, and I'm happy when he rides good, and I think I need him, you know, because I start to ride fast with him, so yeah, I think he's a good boy, and for me it's important.
When he started on the team, he looked up to me, and then like now I look up to him, so it's kind of strange, like when someone looks up to you and then building up each year and stuff, and he's getting so much better and better and better every year. So yeah, it's crazy.
In Val d'Isère, the second-to-last race of the UCI Downhill World Cup is eagerly awaited. In the battle for the overall victory, one man is getting some extra attention: Aaron Gwin. The American was able to win the last 4 races with an outstanding performance. Val di Sole in Italy marked the beginning of his victory run. He outclassed the field with about 7 seconds. For the third race in Fort William, Gwin was in his best shape, and so he was able to win again. In Mount St. Anne, Canada, the 24-year-old won his 3rd race in a row. In Wyndham, he remained on the road to victory by becoming the first athlete to win 4 consecutive races. His strongest opponent is Greg Menard from South Africa. Menard was able to win the first out of 7 races at home. But in the overall ranking, the chase with Gwin was on. And so in Val d'Isère, a victory is necessary to gain some extra space. Due to a fall while training, Aaron Gwin starts already from an early position. With sutures in his hand, heavily handicapped, he still knows how to fight and takes over the lead. In 2012, Loïc Bruni was able to make a good 5th place in Wyndham, his best result in his young career so far.
Yeah, Wyndham, it was my best result, you know, and I like it, the track, because last year it was my best result too.
This year in Wyndham, upstate New York, for the young Frenchman, a dream came true.
It's already so good, you know, just a podium behind Green, Atherton, Smith and Hart. And I'm the 5th one, so it was strange for me because I always watched them like my heroes, so it was my dream.
In Wyndham, when he got 5th on the podium, I was just like, almost had a couple of tears because I was so happy for him, you know. He was just so happy, he couldn't even believe it. He was like, just in tears as well. He's like, oh man, and he was just like hugging me and stuff, and he couldn't believe it.
That's why it's so good, you know. Just a good spirit between everybody, and yeah, it's a good mentality between all the riders. So yeah, it's good.
In Val d'Isère, it's all about the final decision. Greg Minnaar has to make a good run to remain competitive for the World Cup. In the upper part, he has a few uncertainties.
Actually looking a little bit untidy for Greg Minnaar, but playing it clever. You see it on the brakes. Very clear around that third.
In the lower part, he comes back bigger and eventually takes over the lead.
He does. Look at the time. Oh my God. Half a second up for Greg Minnaar.
Now it's G. Atherton's turn.
So here he is.
The third in the overall ranking starts explosively.
Of course, G, another one of these guys that will just do everything absolutely.
In the upper part, he chooses a good line.
He hasn't won a race, a World Cup race now since the end of 2010. Can you believe that? Accuracy from Atherton as he comes down the line. Can he go fast?
In the end, he can take his lead over the finish line. As the leader, he can make himself comfortable with Aaron Gwynn and Greg Minnaar behind him.
What he needed. Will it be enough to see him take the win? In
Now
the
it's
start?
time for the young Frenchman, Loic Bruni. On home turf, he starts with full motivation. He is doing pretty good in the upper third and lies only a few seconds behind.
Incredible rider, Mr. Monster.
He's misjudging himself in one bend, and a spectacular crash destroys his dream. Without a scratch, he finishes his run in 67th place. Loic is known as an absolute joker on his team.
The first days in the team, I thought that it was going to be serious, and no joke, but it's just the opposite. They always joke and have fun, so yeah, I'm pretty happy to see that you can be funny and fast.
His youthful enthusiasm and the great sense of humor does have a positive impact on his teammates.
For the World Cup.
He's a funny guy. He likes to have fun and he makes everyone happy.
You know, sometimes you get a bit lost in why you do this, and when he's around, it lightens the mood and you have a smile on your face, so it's really good. It rubs off on us.
Man, it's a good weekend, I think. The best day of my life, maybe.
We spend all the summer together, ride cross country together, watch TV, play PlayStation.
I love having Loic on the team, and I hope I can keep him where we can be on the team for a long time, so yeah, it should be good.
In the downhill sport, the brake is just one of the most important components on the bike, and the system requirements are extremely high.
A good brake needs to be really strong and powerful so that you can brake late into the corners and get down to the proper speed really quickly. It also needs to be able to handle a really high temperature. So downhill brakes use bigger rotors, bigger brake pads so that they can dissipate heat better, stay cool, and keep working all the way down to the bottom of the hill.
Proper maintenance is essential for optimal braking. The brake pads must be replaced regularly. Before mounting the new ones, the braking system must be cleaned. Afterwards, the caliper is bent to accommodate the new, thicker pads. The new pads are then plugged into the caliper and fixed. They are aligned perfectly using a trick.
So I'm going to need to put the wheel back in and then pump the brake lever a couple times to auto extract the brake pads into their riding position. I need to make sure that the caliper mounting bolts are loose when I do that, though, to make sure that one brake pad doesn't touch the rotor first and then force the other one to come over more. So it needs to be perfectly balanced. And then after I'm done, I'll hold down the brake lever, tighten the caliper mounting bolts, we'll be perfectly centered, and then we'll be ready to ride.
In Val d'Isère, the last riders are expected with excitement. One of them is Brooke McDonald. The man from New Zealand wants to take over the lead right from the beginning. He chooses the best line and he's fast. He didn't win a World Cup race before, but with a fast run, he takes over the lead and keeps his dreams alive. The only one who can push him off his throne is Josh Bryceland from Great Britain.
He desperately wants to win on this circuit.
Could do it as well. Another one of these riders, never won a World Cup, but definitely one of the young breed that are coming through.
He's fast, but in the end, he only comes in third place. So Brooke McDonald can celebrate his first victory in a World Cup.
I can't even explain it in words at the moment. You know, I had a big struggle through the season. I was at the point where I was hating riding, and you know, I've changed a few things on my bike, the suspension setup, and you know, a few other stuff, and you know, it's all paid off.
Besides Brooke McDonald, Aaron Gwynn is pleased to win the overall World Cup.
Yeah, man, I'm just stoked to be up here, blessed to be up here, give it up to the man above. It's been a big weekend of growth for me, and I've learned a lot, and just had a good time.
After the 6th race in Val d'Isère, Aaron Gwynn is without any doubt on top of the UCI rankings. In second position, it's Greg Menard, followed by G. Atherton. Next time on Mountain Bike Chronicles, we're at the FMB World Tour in Whistler at the Crankworks Bike Park, where the best mountain bike riders battle it out at the Red Bull Joyride. Brandon Semenok from Canada dominates the sport. He wants to win his home race again. All this and much more in our next edition of Mountain Bike Chronicles.